Hello everyone and welcome to episode 1 of Junior Worlds Prep. Didn't know what to call this one, still tossed up on a couple names. Maybe by the time this is uploaded I actually have a rough idea of what I want to call it. If I stick with Junior Worlds Prep, or if I do say the campaign to Worlds, the Worlds campaign, or something a bit more creative. But I think Junior Worlds Prep fits nice. No overthinking and nothing. And it's a nice progression. You got powerlifting beginnings, you have road to nationals, and then you have Junior Worlds Prep. But yeah, so let's get going and let's discuss about the block we're doing now, future blocks, and also like summarize this week. So let's start from the beginning, eh? So this block is a volume block in hyphens volume, because although it is volume based for me, for a normal person it's still sort of like a strength block. We're not doing a whole bunch of rep work. We're still doing between, I think, 4 to 6 reps. I think maybe we touched 7 once on something, I'm not sure. But then we're doing multiple sets. That's getting the volume into me. That's how I respond. And so we've adjusted to that. So starting off on day 1, I'll pretty much walk through. We have our leg day, and that's squats, of course. And I'm still doing that sort of high to mid bar squats. I'm going to see if I can try to push it a bit further down without going into low bar. But we had a top single of 250 kilos at RPE 6. Now I was quite stiff during this session, so the back offs ended up being a bit higher RPE than expected. But obviously it was a couple of days post comp, and yeah, the body was a bit sore and stiff. Then I did 220 kilos for 4, and those were back offs. 2 sets of that. It was meant to be RPE 5. I hit it at 6. The note I made was a bit stiff. Now, the rest of the day, what we're meant to do is, I never did the accessories for this day. The secondary is a flat dumbbell bench. And then we have dumbbell split squat, supersetted with hamstring curls, and then side plank supersetted with shoulder taps. Moving on to our day 2, we have our chest day. So we had bench press, in which I did a top single of 165 kilos, RPE 6.5. A bit stiff, like the mind muscle connection's a bit poor, but the body is a bit lagged or delayed. And then we had back offs of 150 kilos, 4 reps and 2 sets. The back off RPE was a 7. It was meant to be 6, but I think I was discussing this last time. My sort of rep work is almost like a reverse exponential curve, where it's like, it's just downhill. 1 rep, like top end is really good. Add another rep and boom, that's plus another 1 or 2 RPE out of nowhere, right? And then it's like, you add another rep and it's like, whoa, and it's a slippery slope down. So that's the funny thing. Like, I could squat 330 and then I do rep work of 230 and then struggle. But that means it's a lot of room for improvement, which is great to see. Then we go into our leg press. I don't record these ones, but we have sort of leg press starting to get heavy. I think by the end of the block we're doing almost 400, which isn't too bad. It's all 10 reps, just some hypertrophy work. Then our first superset is rope tricep extensions, supersetted with dumbbell lateral raises. Now the rope tricep extensions really focusing here on getting our old movement back in. We used to do it all the time. It was one of the first cable exercises that I began lifting ever when I was a young teen. So that's a huge thing. And then dumbbell lateral raises, we're trying to build up the shoulders. And then finishing off with light cable flies and upright rows. Yeah, good to finally get some shoulder stuff in and some more chest work. Day 3, which is today, is our back day. Now I am doing a bit of an abridged version, just because it's so late. It's already 11 and I want to get home. I have to volunteer tomorrow as well. But we had sumo deadlift, top set at 250 kilos, and then back offs at 220 for 4. And that moved okay. RPE was low, but the hook grip was fucking sore, that's for sure. Then what we're meant to do is barbell hip thrusts. I also don't record that, but since it's such a hassle to set up, I need to use so many blocks. I'll actually be traveling over to Bella Vista usually after, so it's pretty much 2 sessions. Or if I have to shift it to the Saturday, I will. Like tomorrow, after my volunteering session, I'll head over to Extreme Bella Vista and then finish my last, accessory today plus the barbell thrusts. And moving on to our day 4, we're back to having a day 4, and that's an accessory day. So this is usually your Saturday, Sunday, and that's incline barbell press, which I haven't done for years, which is pretty fun. Hopefully it's quite fun. Then I have prone row, love it. I think it's a good addition. And then we have cable rear delt raises, supersetted with Copenhagen planks. Now I do keep my knee bent for Copenhagens just because if I have straight leg, there's way too much sort of strain on my MCL, way too much valgus strain. Then we have hanging leg raises, supersetted with single leg hip thrusts, and that sort of hanging leg raises add to the building of grip strength and core work. So moving forward, we have our sort of game plan or method of attack per se for Worlds. So we have a strength block, or this is more of a volume block, which started this week, and then we have like deloads in between, and then 2 picking blocks. Then I'm already at Worlds. We sort of have I think 6 weeks, and then like 4 to 5 weeks, and then like another 4 to 5 weeks. So there's not long. Time will fly, especially once we start putting in that work. And then Worlds is going to be huge, insane to go on the world scale and be able to face formidable opponents. Some of the guys from Great Britain are quite insane. And also there's quite a lot of lifters that aren't from those sort of big nations of US and Great Britain, and they're more from those European countries and the Slovak sort of nations. So that's really good to see. Now, we also have a long-term plan because winning this sort of locks me in for a year, I think. I've sort of thrown away the idea of going back to rugby. I have been focusing now on Worlds, and that's the plan of attack. And that's the idea that we stay going to Worlds, and then we'll see what happens there. If that goes well, or if I do well and perform good, at least to my standards, then it looks like we will stay in the sport for a while, especially if we can get some sort of more support going, like sponsorships and partnerships. Regarding our sort of nutrition, it's been a while since I've touched on it properly. The goal is to sort of maintain our body weight at around 155 kilos. Initially, the goal was to do a little cut and then bulk back up for Worlds, but I think it's much better if we maintain the strength, maintain the weight. I've been fluctuating a bit, started taking creatine again. I took a few days off, but now that I'm retracking and trying to eat decent, you can notice the differences, especially in the weight. It's not rising like crazy in the last week of prep. But yeah, really not far now. Trying to stay above 300 grams of protein, under 230 grams of fat, and just over 400 grams of carbs. And that's the go for that. And now let's do a quick talk about content before I head off. Just regarding content, we are going to hit a bit of a slow patch just because uni is picking up. We're starting to go towards the final exams. Within the next sort of month, I'm going to be blocked out pretty much until like after the 28th of June. And then most likely it's like back to full-time work for a month, or casual but full-time hours, and try to really grind out some money, especially that last bit for Costa Rica. I'm not really working at the moment, and I think if I bloody worked at the moment, like even just 2 days a week, I'd be buggered, unless I can find something local. But yeah, so if we do get bloody that podcast, I kept saying I was going to do it. I don't think I'm going to do it. I'm going to be truthful. There's just not enough hours in the day, eh? Like trying to figure out, like, I like doing things 100%. I don't like half-assing a lot of things. So, it's like the same thing with me doing my, powerlifting. I didn't want to half-ass it. You got to go 100%. And I don't want to half-ass a podcast. But then again, that's the only way you can grow. So I think I'll have to really have a think about it. I think the hardest thing is just the prep work, not the actual talking bit. But anyways, that's that. I would like to release a couple more videos by end of month on the X-Gym Castle Hill page as a collaborator. Hopefully one stating my goals for Worlds, sort of similar to what we did for Nationals. And also like trying to venture out of my comfort zone. We have to figure out how to fundraise and raise some funds. Also need to try to see if Macquarie Uni can do some things. But regardless, everything is sort of looking good. I think from outside looking in, people would think life is good, but obviously everyone has their own perspectives. A lot of stress setting on now, but it's nothing that I can't handle. It's more so the financial burden and financial stress of being a student on the dole and not really working. So I have to try and find other revenues of income. I think that's the best way to put it. But I really appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the last little recap I did. I really appreciate you guys. Hopefully I can keep building. I've been pretty transparent with everything. I've shown you guys almost every training session I have since I started the powerlifting journey. And if I haven't, it's most likely on my Instagram as well. So yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one, and hopefully I can have the sort of title decided by then. Thank you.